Alright guys, it's Russell back, and on today's video I'm going to show you how to use the Motive Products Power Bleeder. This is going to be the model 0108. This is for late model GM master cylinders. This is the vessel here that we're going to be using to apply the pressure to the master cylinder. So this part is the same on all kits. And this happens to be the cap that you'll use for, I believe it's 92 and later, the GM model master cylinders that have the 1/6 turn. And it's got there are three tabs. So it's probably one of the most common caps ever made. But I'm going to show you how to use this on the vehicle that we're getting ready to power bleed. All right, just so you guys are not confused, this is the master cylinder that would normally be on the 89 Chevy K1500. These are absolutely horrible. This is the master cylinder from a 2006 Chevy Silverado four-wheel drive, and this uses the 1/6 turn cap. All right, so this is very easy to do. After you've attached the adapter, use some Teflon tape, of course. We're just going to place this on the master cylinder, press down and turn until it locks. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take the, make sure this is tight. I'm trying to do this one-handed. And we're going to pump this up until we get to approximately 10 psi of pressure. Okay, we're at 10 psi of pressure. What you want to do is you want to let this sit here a couple of minutes to make sure that the pressure doesn't drop. If it doesn't drop, then you know you've got the cap sealed properly on the master cylinder. There is a rubber gasket that's under there, so make sure to put that on there. Now, after you've done this, there are two methods to power bleed. Number one, you can do the dry method, or number two, you can do the wet method. Now the dry method is what I use, so I'm not gonna ever put any brake fluid in here. I'm just gonna pressurize the master cylinder, and since this master cylinder holds an awful lot of brake fluid, I'll just keep an eye on it, and when it needs refilling, I'll let the pressure off and add more brake fluid and do it that way. If you don't want to do it that way, you can put brake fluid in here, this receptacle here, and it will force the brake fluid through the line and keep the master cylinder topped off. The reason that I'm not going to do that is because it's a little bit of a mess, and if I never put anything in here, I could use this for other things. So you can do it either way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pressurize this to 15 psi. All right, so I'm at the passenger side rear wheel. Normally you're going to do it the line furthest from the master brake cylinder, which in this vehicle it's the passenger rear wheel. I've got my catch bottle right here. I've got my wrench ready to go, and I've got the line on the nipple, and I'm just going to crack this open, and let me show you what it looks like in the bottle as soon as I do that. Okay, so right now there's pressure. If you'll see the, you can see the brake fluid flowing out. Now there's no chance of getting any air in here like this, because there's constant pressure on the system. There's no vacuum being drawn like if you were going to move the pedal. So we've got a little bit of air, not much. And I'm probably going to let this go, I don't know, maybe about a minute or two. Now, if after a minute or two I continue to see bubbles, then obviously, as I keep an eye on the master cylinder, I will also let this run until probably 1 or 2 minutes of no bubbles at all. But I'm going to show you guys a trick. You can only do this if you're doing the dry method, meaning there is no fluid in the pressure vessel. So we're at about 14 psi still, and the master cylinder level has dropped to about here. Instead of unscrewing the cap on the pressure vessel, you can just do it here. You'll hear a little hiss. Okay. There's the gasket I was talking about. And I'm just going to go ahead and fill this up. Now I have not, the bleeder screw is still open. So right now, with no pressure on the system, we're just gravity bleeding. As long as I don't touch the pedal, there's no chance at all of air getting in the system. As long as this does not run dry, you are perfectly fine. Okay, so I've got that back on. You want to pump this up to 15 psi. Okay, and we'll just continue with our bleeding process until there's no more bubbles. The bubbles are getting less frequent, and they're really tiny. They call them champagne bubbles. So I think we're almost there. There was a lot of air in that line. All right, so we've got our master cylinder full, and let's go check the pedal. All right, that is a firm pedal right there. I wish you guys could experience that. That's the way it's supposed to be.